Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about personalized manifestation, and this is largely in response to a question that was asked on the comments, and I thought I would elaborate a little bit because it might be worth it. Now, if you are planning on doing human manifestation, you know you should back to a certain direction, and that direction is a little bit vague depending on who you talk to. Now, you basically have two options. You can back to your natal guardian spirit direction, and everybody will have one. One of the easiest place to find this is on the Joey app, Batsa, the free Batsa app. You can get your Batsa, and you will need that to be able to follow along here. And it will tell you on the first page, somewhat near the top, more or less in the middle, it will tell you some directions, and the guardian spirit will be listed there. And it tells you a direction, and that is your natal guardian spirit direction. Now, there's also the option of backing to the day or the hours direction that contains your guardian spirit. You're still looking for the guardian spirit, but every day and every hour, your guardian spirit moves around. There is some exceptions there. If your guardian spirit is a tiger, a tortoise, the hook, or the phoenix, you will only see it listed in the day or hour during half the year. In that case, just use your guardian spirit direction, the natal one, instead of trying to find it when it's not there. Now, either one of these can work, especially if you don't have one of those four particular ones, but which one is preferred basically depends on the strength of your natal connection to your guardian spirit. Now, everybody basically has a certain connection to the direction of a day or an hour, where their guardian spirit is. But in general, I would say the natal tends to be stronger, especially if the connection, your base connection, is stronger. And that would be my general recommendation, is try your natal one first, but there are exceptions to this. So we're going to talk about what level you're at, just based on your on the elements in your Batsa. Now, some people have a very high connection, and if that's very high, and you will, by the time this gets through, you will know what I mean, but between like 65 to or even maybe 60% to 100%, definitely you're going to have a much stronger connection to your natal direction than to the day's direction. Now, some people have an average connection, and I would say you could use either. If you're closer to 65%, I would say then you try your natal one first before you try the hour or the day, because it's a bit easier. One of these are probably going to work better than the other. You're going to have to experiment a bit, and it's a little hard to say. The closer you are to 35%, the more likely it is the day or the hour will work better for you. That is, you will have better results. Now, if you're low, anywhere between 0 and about 35%, definitely you're much more likely to be able to use the day or the hour. Or instead, since this is quite low and your ability to connect is not high even on the best of days, you might instead want to use date selection, because date selection uses the energy of the day, completely the energy of the day, and it doesn't involve anything to do with you in terms of connecting to anything. You're just using the energy of the day. Now, the lower your level, the less ability you have to connect to your guardian spirit backing your natal direction. And I think that makes sense. Now, the higher it is, the more fruitful it will likely be to back to your natal guardian spirit direction. And if you're anything over 50%, I would say try that first. Back to your natal guardian spirit direction, and stick with that and see if it helps. Of course, the closer you are to 100, the more likely it is to be. But anything over 50, you probably are better off with your guardian spirit. Anything that's less than 35%, if you really want to use the Chi-Men manifestation, I would use the day or the hour. Now, the hour, you can find the current hour's Chi-Men chart on a free Joey Yap app. It's not the one that has the Vatsa, but he has another one for a Chi-Men chart where you could find your Chi-Men natal chart if you're interested. But the days chart, there is a book that does it, but you have to be able to interpret it, and it's not easy. And so it would probably be better if you could get the day and the hour, the guardian spirit, your guardian spirit, to overlap in the same one. It's much stronger than just any random hour, but you're not going to be able to do that for free, at least not any place I know of. But again, if you're low, using date selection is another option that doesn't require you to back to any specific direction. In date selection, usually it's location that's more important. However, if you were just renting a room in a place and you can't just be any place in the house and sit and meditate, then your best option is to use either the days or your natal and be in your room. And that's a little unfortunate, or you could actually go outside and just back to either one of those directions. And that would also work. And you may actually be able to find a more peaceful place, especially it depends on how busy the house happens to be, wherever you're just renting a room. But it's a little unfortunate if that's the case, because if you're at a low level and you can't use date selection, you probably don't get really good results. Now, if you have extremely low level, and I would say that's less than 15%, I would say date selection is your better bet, simply because it's so low. Whether you do it to the day or you do it to your natal direction, you're not going to get much, because you don't really have a real decent connection to your guardian spirit at all. And I don't, and I have not found this to work for me. Now, from my personal experience, and my natal link is at 0%, I have no natural ability to connect to my guardian spirit. I just can't connect to it. It doesn't work. But my guardian spirit can connect to me under certain circumstances. And there I get information that I can use. This can happen, for example, when I'm driving in a very familiar place, so I don't have to worry about directions. I know where I am. It can happen when I'm cooking, or when I'm cleaning, or doing the dishes, or doing laundry, things like this. And it even happens when I'm falling asleep. I get a lot of really, really good input when I'm trying to solve a problem when I'm half asleep. And I think that's my guardian spirit talking to me, but I cannot talk to it. But that's better than having no connection at all. So I'm very happy about this. And I do try to allow myself to have this sort of connection whenever I can. Now, if you have a guardian spirit of chief or nine heavens, your ability to manifest is all the time. Every single day, every single time, anytime you're awake, you're manifesting. And maybe even when you're asleep, you might be. Now, Joey Yap will call this the guardian of destiny. And but I think he's the only one who calls it this. His students will call it that too, but it's not really destiny. I really do have a problem with calling these things destiny and fate and all this kind of stuff, because it isn't. But anyway, if you have one of these two, you are connected all the time. Anytime you're awake, you are sending information to your guardian spirit of what you want. And it cannot tell the difference between what you're worried about and don't want and what you want to have. And this is where the problem lies. This can be a very tricky thing. I was first jealous when I heard about this. I said, oh, why couldn't I have one of these? It would be so nice. But if you worry at all and you have the chief or the nine heavens, it's not good. So you have to be careful about what you think about. That's with the chief, especially what you imagine, what you see in your head, in your mind. You have to really be careful about that with the nine heavens because you are connected whenever you're conscious. Now, also, if you're a careful person, and there are people vary in carefulness, there are some people that don't just create a plan A. They create a plan B and a plan C, which is like, the plan C to me is a little ridiculous, but they probably spend most of the time on plan C because by the time you get to plan C, you're thinking about all kinds of contingencies and everything gets very complicated. Whichever plan they're thinking of the most is the one that's most likely to happen, because the more they think about one of these plans, this is what gets connected to either the chief or nine heavens. And that's what, the chief and nine heavens doesn't have this moral compass. It's just listening to you, what you want, it can give you it. And so if you worry the plan won't come out, well, it probably won't come out in your favor because you spent too much time worrying about it. So spend more time thinking about the desired outcome, imagining it just happening smoothly. You can plan step by step of plan A. Just don't worry about plan B and plan C. Just focus on plan A. Because there are people who like to plan a lot, and that's totally fine. Just plan on plan A. Don't even think about plan B. It's certainly not plan C unless plan A fails. Now, it's likely plan A will be fine unless there's a lot of other people involved in the planning. And then if they happen to have the chief or nine heavens and they worry too much, things can go wrong. But if it's your sole thing and you only think about plan A, it should go fine because you're the one in charge. And as long as nobody else is equally in charge as you, you should be okay and things should go well. Now, if you have any other guardian spirit, anything other than the chief or nine heavens, then your natural ability to manifest depends on the elemental strength within your natal Vatsa chart of a particular element. And that element, the particular element you need to look at, is based on your day master. So I'll have a table in just a little bit that will tell you what element you want to look at. Now, this element can appear in your luck pillar, it can appear in the annual pillar, it can even appear in the day or the hour or even the minute if you really wanted to go insane. But basically, it can give you a boost. But if you are close to zero, if you're under 15% in your natal, the luck pillar, the annual pillar, it's not going to give you much of a boost because you've got so little to begin with. So you can think of it as a multiplier, but anything multiplied by 0 is still 0. So, it doesn't help a lot if your level is very low. So here's the table I promised. So this is valid for anybody without chief or nine heavens as their guardian spirit. If you have chief or nine heavens, you have 100% connection, ignore this chart. So what you need to do is find your day master over here. And when you find it, go over in the same row and look for an element. And this is the element you're going to be looking at in your Vatsa chart, in your natal part of your Vatsa chart. Now, for me, I'm a Yinwood day master, so I need to look for gunmetal in my natal chart. And right next to the spiderweb looking chart on the second page of the Joey app analysis, there's two sets of bar charts. look at the one that's got natal labeled on top, because there will be two sets, and most people who do this do two sets. You have to look at the natal. Now, the higher the level of your needed element is in that natal bar chart, the stronger your natural ability. And the one thing nice about Joey Yap is he labels it in terms of percentage. Now, what it is a percentage of, he never says, and there are a lot of other masters out there that don't like that he does this. Not maybe necessarily that he gives it in percentage, but he doesn't tell you what it is a percentage of. And it drives me absolutely batty as a scientist. You can't say percentage unless you tell us what it is a percentage of. It doesn't have much meaning. But in this case, it is okay to use, at least to get a decent idea. Now, and again, and the percentages I refer to is what you would find in your Joey Yap natal bar chart. So this is just, this isn't actually any real chart, but it is somebody who has, like me, has the Yinwood Daymaster. So we need to look at the gung metal, and it's a 0%. And now this, I've done this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 different analysis out there. Every single one says 0%. There might be one that said 2%, 3%, something like that, depending on, which method is being used. But never is this any number that's appreciable. And if there is one that's above 0%, it's only one. So I'm at 0%. I'm okay with that. That's just the way it is. And now this is not what a normal annual thing would look like. Most of the time, the annual is close to the natal, but I just wanted to show you, yes, these can be quite different. You can have non-zero for the annual, even if you have 0 here. This is just all what I wanted to show you. This is totally unrealistic. But, I would just threw this together and real quick to get something done. Now, what is listed here in terms of the 10 gods is only valid for a Yinwood Daymaster. So you don't want to look at your direct officer necessarily. You want to look at the element. You want to look at the element rather than what the 10 god is listed. But to help you, because a lot of people have trouble with these characters, I thought I would give you a little bit of a bit more information on a chart. And so here, you're either going to be looking at your direct wealth or your direct officer. That is the 10 god, or the star. Some people call this star, so don't want to get people too, if they don't understand what that is and you see the word star, that's what they mean. But it's going to be one of these two. And we look at it from looking at the elemental combination. Wood, whether it's yang or yin wood, it will control earth. That's in the controlling cycle of the 5 elements. And since this is yang and this is yin, it's going to be direct wealth. If it were the same polarity, that yang yang or yin yin, it would be indirect wealth, but that doesn't occur on this chart. These are always opposite polarity. So it's going to be the second option. Now for yin wood, metal controls wood. So it's either going to be 7K or direct officer, but since they're opposite polarity, it'll be direct officer. And you can see this just interchanges, direct wealth, direct officer, direct wealth, direct officer. So that's the way it goes. And so this can help you pick out what you need to find in your chart. It's maybe a little bit easier than looking for this particular element. And I hope this helps. Now you can theoretically add information into this for a location to do a Qi manifestation. So you would have to know your house's Qi chart, and you would choose a good sector, and then you would back either to your Qi natal Qi guardian spirit direction, or maybe the day or the hours. And that's kind of up to you based on what I just talked about. Now, I know no place to get your Chi-Man chart for free, but I do have it available on the coffee store, my coffee store here, and it's not outrageously expensive, but I think you have to know your facing direction. I think that might be all that you need to know to pick out the right chart. You might also have to know your period. A little vague. I haven't looked at it in a bit, but I know it's all there. And I've been focusing on Vatsas, so the details are a little vague for me right now. Joey app also has a book that will give you this information, but it's, I think, over $100 now. It's quite expensive, and it will only get more expensive because the book is no longer in print. So anything you get out there is either a used book or it's one of the few that they still have in stock somewhere. Now, for date selection, you don't have to worry about the direction, although you can use it. It certainly doesn't hurt you to use it. You could use a good Chi-Man direction for you. But what is important with date selection is usually the location that you are in your home. You could do this in your office also, but it's usually harder in an office. Now, in addition to manifesting, most date selection formations also require activation for things to come true. Because you're not connecting to a spirit, you're using the energy of the day. Some days have really good date selection properties, so you can manifest and activate on the same day. Other days, the date selection properties aren't very good. You can still manifest, but you have to wait until a good day, that is a day that has mostly good date selection properties, before you would actually activate. And the activity that's related to the goal is the most effective. So if you want to get a new job, you would manifest on a yang type of date selection formation day. And then you would be waiting until a good day comes along, which is usually not terribly long. It's within a couple weeks kind of at the outside. And that is the day you really start looking for the job. You start applying. And that's an activity that's related to your goal. And that is the best activity to do. You can do other activities, but really, if it can be related to your goal, that is 10 times better than just some random thing like exercise. So that's it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if you do find it enlightening, if you would donate $1 or so to me, it doesn't have to be a lot, at my coffee store, I can continue to take classes and be able to give you more information. Right now, I'm in the midst of a Vatsa class, and this is October of 2024, in case this is much later when you're watching it. And I'm not just using that information. There's a lot of other information out there. I'm getting it all together, and that's what I give to you in my videos. And there will be a lot more Vatsa coming out. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm not even done with the class yet. So it's going to be good when I can finally get it done. Thanks again for watching.